What's happening? What's happening? Oh, come on. What's happening? Good morning, everybody. Glad to be here. Everybody's smiling and looking pretty out there. Well, I hope I can inspire you. Inspire, to make someone want to do something, to give someone an idea about what to do or create, to cause something to happen or be created, to cause someone to have a feeling or emotion. Hope I'm able to do that this morning. I'm going to tell you about my life and where I got to be where I am today. As I talk, you'll realize that I'm just a regular person, same as you. More than likely, you are probably smarter than me. If you're smarter than me, I might even hire you. Because I don't hire nobody dumber than myself. We have a manufacturing business called AC Dispensing Equipment. The A stands for my son's name, Ashley. The C stands for my daughter's name, Courtney. And an old fellow told me a long time ago, he said, Michael, when you start a business, make sure you tell people what you do in the name of the business. We make dispensing equipment. I couldn't call it Dispensing Equipment Incorporated, so I added the kids' initials to it, and it sounded pretty cool. Well, my life began in New Jersey. So I grew up on the Jersey Shore, a town called Neptune or Asbury Park, okay? About 60 miles, 45 miles down from New York City, about 60 miles up from Atlantic City. Had a good old time as growing up on the Jersey Shore. We had the beaches and all the amusements and so forth. My father, in the 60s, used to come to Nova Scotia on vacation. You see ads in the New York Times and Look magazine, come to Atlantic Canada, Canada's ocean playground. So they did, and they liked it up here. Well, my father used to work for the state of New Jersey in a boys' home for delinquent youth, juveniles up to 19 years old. And we kind of grew up on grounds there, went to public school. But I always tell people, you learn from other people and what they do. So here I am, a little kid, going to public school, but living on grounds with a bunch of juvenile delinquents. What did I learn to do? Everything right that they did wrong. Because they got caught. That's why they're in there. I said, I asked 4 or 5 people, what happened to you? Oh, I'll make sure I never did what they did so I didn't get caught. So I wouldn't say I was successful doing what I was doing, but I never got caught. So I was very fortunate that way. But I learned that wasn't really the way to operate my life. I'm still a young kid then. My father finally moved us out of the home, and him and my mother bought a home back in his hometown. And growing up through life, you go through a lot of adversity. We were the 3rd black family to move in a white neighborhood. This is back in the late 60s. Okay, so there was this prominent white neighborhood, and we were the 3rd black family to move in there. I am a young black kid going to pretty well an all-white school. That was kind of weird, you know. But we had a saying back in our neighborhood, you have to get along to get on. And so I learned how to become friends with people and of a different cultures and so forth in my life, which was a big aid to me. I used to work at a Howard Johnson's restaurant in New Jersey. And I get my first job. I'm about 14 years old. Busting suds, as we called it back in the day, dishwasher. And Nick Papadopoulos hired me. I can never forget his name. He said, Michael, I'm hiring you to bust suds in my restaurant. I'm going to pay you 50 cents an hour. I said, yes, sir. All right. He said, remember this. 50 cents an hour was pretty good, because remember I'm talking back in the 60s, gas was only $0.25 for a gallon of gas. So, that was pretty good money for a kid. So Nick said, remember one thing, Michael. I'm going to pay you 50 cents an hour. But if you got time to lean, you got time to clean. You work too fast, you won't last. Work too slow, you gotta go. So in other words, keep busy. I'm paying you 50 cents. I don't care what you do. If there's no dishes to wash, peel potatoes. If there's no potatoes to peel, wash the floor. Do something because you're getting paid. So I still carry that with me today. As long as somebody's paying me to do something, I'll do whatever they want me to do. I don't have an attitude that, well, it's not my job to do that. If you're paying me, everything is my job. So I'm having fun. I used to make some money and store my money away, work all overtime I could get, go to school, go back there, work some more in the evening time. My father decides that he wants to move to Nova Scotia in the 70s, the 1970s. And so my father began the formal process of re-educating him and my older brother. They became oil burner repair and installation technicians, which was a trade that was needed in Nova Scotia. So that enabled him to apply to become immigrants here in Canada. People said, oh man, back in my high school, look at duck going up to live with the Eskimos. They didn't know how beautiful this place here was, right? But anyway, so 1973, the whole family immigrated here to Nova Scotia. I was 15, going on 16 then. I decided to quit school in grade 10. I finished grade 10 in Jersey. I quit school, didn't go back to school here because I was kind of an instigator. I could tell people what to do and how to get back to somebody and not get caught myself. You know, I learned those traits early in life. So I decided not to cause any more trouble. Plus, the neighborhood that we grew up into, the main town, my father's hometown, where we lived outside, was a very racially tensioned town. We had riots. Streets were burned down. To this day, that town has never recovered from what it used to be. The town where he grew up was basically, if you think of Chester. Chester was like a vacation community for all the wealthy people on the weekends. So that's what Asbury Park was like. All the wealthy people in New York City had humongous mansions on the Atlantic Ocean, and a lot of domestic work which went on. But being oppressed and so forth, it got to some of the people, and they had these race riots, and they burned the town down. And it still hasn't recovered to this day. But anyway, we moved here in 1973. Wow. I couldn't work with my father. My father and my older brother started a business. I couldn't work for him because he was stupid. But I was 16, I knew everything. So a little bit of attitude still. I decided to go and work at the Halifax waterfront. So I became a stevedore, unloading the cargo ships in the Halifax waterfront. Still remember my number to this day. My number was 20692. You never forget that once you get jobs down there. So I would work making great money at the Halifax waterfront. I'm 16, 15. Them guys I knew were getting paid $12 something an hour. So I was doing real good as a young kid making money. I was making all kinds of money. And life was good. Working all kind of overtime and making money. I can remember going to my father. I've always learned in life, you have to ask for help no matter what it is you want to do. Think about the first car you want to buy. You need somebody to sign for you more than likely. I don't care how much money you make it. But even if they had to sign for the car I wanted to buy. So I went to fairly Stevens, Halifax is gone now, but picked up this car. Back in the day, you could custom order a car. Everybody could custom order a car. You had very few cars on the lots, but you say, I want carpet, I want electric door locks, I want the lane windshield wipers, I want this kind of seat, I want power windows. Now they're all out, and the cars come with all this stuff nowadays. But back then, back in the day, if you wanted a cigarette lighter, you had to order that thing in the car. So you had to order everything you wanted in the car. So I picked this car up. The car was beautiful. It was a Ford Elite. Thing was loaded, man, as we said back in the day. And I said, Dad, I got this car all figured out. I made this much money. I can pay for it. Man, the bank said, if you sign for this car, I can get it. My dad said, you remember how much money down the waterfront? I said, oh, yeah, I'm doing good down there. He said, I didn't know you was doing that good. I said, oh yeah, it's a good job down there. He said, you don't pay me no rent here. You can start paying rent here then, can't you? I said, come on out there. He said, no man, you making that much money, you can pay this much rent. I never did buy that car. So I didn't pay no rent. He said, you can give your mother this much money every month. Now I want to wash your dirty drawers. I said, okay. So anyway, the waterfront was cool. It was big. It was really good. But technology rules this world. Technology changes everything all the time. As soon as you think you got something going, it changes. As you graduate from here and move on to various careers and the various things you learn here and so forth, trying to pin down your job is going to be like trying to pin jello to a wall. Because it's going to constantly keep evolving with the technology in this world today. So I'm working at the waterfront. We're about 1976 now. Well, 75, late 75. I met this beautiful girl at Truro. Decided to get married. Committed to get married. The waterfront had changed. Technology came in. So one of the big jobs we had in the waterfront then was loading up the flower ship to go to Russia. The cargo ship would come in, bags of flowers would come in. We would load those cargo ships up manually from the bottom to the top. Used to be about 140 guys working on one ship for about 3 to 4 weeks. Somebody decided to say, hey, why don't we take a crane and put a forklift down there? They put a gizmo on the front of the forklift, which would grab the flower bags, clamp them, turn them over, and just stuck them in the corners, backs up high. The middle of the ship, they just put them in big bags and dumped them into them. A 4-week job turned into 4 or 5 days. Ships were gone. It was an easy job, paid good. Now, a lot of the older union guys had to go back to do some of the harder work that they didn't want to do. That meant no more work for me. So, I'm committed to get married. Making $12.50 something an hour. Now I got pretty well no work left. So what did I do? I needed help again. Who did I ask? I asked Dad. I said, Dad, get married, no more work at the waterfront there. I need a job. Well, my father had sold one business, and he got into another business. He got into a janitorial service business. And one of his new contracts was Baxter Dairies. Baxter's had built a St. John company, built a brand new plant in Burnside in 75. My father got me a job there. Through his contact. With everything in life you'll figure out after a while, it's all about who you know and who can hook you up with somebody else to get you where you want to be. So, I go see the general manager. And the general manager says, Michael, I like your father. He says, I'm going to give you a job. But he said to me, he says, we've had problems with you people before. And a lot of rage came back up when I was a kid, and I wanted to reach across him. But I said, no, Michael, you're better than that. Prove it. I said, sir, no problem. I said, no problem at all. I was there after 15 years. The gentleman who was hiring me, I got rid of him in 6 months for some other things as well as that. So my career at Baxter Dairies, I started there as a general helper. So I went from making $12.50 an hour to making $3.50 an hour. I was a general helper. I'm uneducated, right? I quit school in grade 10. So, but I had a job, 40 hours a week. And I would always do the extra thing that needed to be done. If I got done moving the milk case, wherever my job was, I thought back what Nick said. You have time to leave, time to clean, Mike. So I would go do something. Now, in my family, there's some different qualities. I happen to be mechanically inclined. I like to fix stuff. I want to take something apart, put it back together again, and make it better. So I'm doing my general helper. I would go and fix a light switch. I go fix a hydraulic line. I go fix something. And they saw that. The production manager did it. Hey, that's pretty good. We'll put him in the production department, the maintenance department, which is great. So, okay. Now I'm doing something I like. I'm making more money, too. The maintenance pays more than a general helper does, so I'm making more money, which is really good. I got in the maintenance department. My boss there, he was an old Navy guy. And I realized that this guy was not going to stay being a plant engineer. He missed being out in the Navy ships. Maybe away from his wife or whatever, I don't know. They said, oh, I got to switch in my elbow, I got to get back to sea. So this guy's going to leave. How can I get his job? What did I have to do? I had to re-educate myself. I started taking a lot of night courses and correspondence courses, visited the St. Mary's courses, Dalhousie courses, to learn everything I needed to know to get this man's job. There's an old saying, it's better to be prepared for opportunity than to have opportunity and not be prepared. So I prepared myself. About a year and a half later, 2 years later, my boss left. They appointed me the plant engineer of Baxter Dairies. That's pretty cool. You got a kid that, you know, I'm about 21 now, I'm married. All of a sudden, I'm plant engineer. I got a little business card with mic'd up plant engineer. Yeah. I was pretty good. So anyway, having a blast, running by department, department's growing. We're jump up a few years. I got about 6 people working in my department. If you don't know, a dairy plant starts processing milk around midnight. And they run until about 2 in the afternoon, somewhere in that range, to process all the milk for each day, because cows milk twice a day. So anyway, I would stop, let's jump up to 1985, 84 now. I would stop in at a local Tim Hortons in Burnside and pick up half dozen coffees for those who started early. Every morning, I had to tell the girls in there, easy on the cream. And they just splashed the cream in the cup, and I come back, and I said, I was in the production office one day, and I said to my boss, them girls down at Tim Hortons can't get nothing right. Tell them every morning. He said, Michael, shut up. Stop complaining and do something about it. What did he do? He gave me a personal challenge. When I was a little kid, we used to have a little game we used to play. You know, you get up to this bully and you put a stick on your shoulder and you dare somebody to knock it off. And I dare you to knock it off, or whatever it was you had to do. You always taking on every challenge to let people know how bad you was and how fearless you were. So taking on challenges is an important thing in life. As you continue on in your careers, if you don't take on every challenge that is presented to you, you will never find out how good you are. You will never find your brick wall. When you reach that brick wall, you must go through it, under it, around it, over it. I don't care how you do it, but you got to see what's on the other side of the brick wall. How are you going to do that? Are you going to ask for help from other people to achieve this next goal where you want to get? When you get on the other side of the brick wall, then you got a decision to make. Do I like it on this side of the brick wall? Or maybe your comfort zone is just right on this side of the brick wall. Nothing wrong with that, but at least you know. How many people here golf? There's a few. You hear people that they get down and everybody wants to break par. Everybody wants to shoot even golf. But you know how much work that is? It's a lot of work. This guy's smiling. He's like, yeah, he's all right. It's a lot of work. And there are some people who have got through that brick wall and are a scratch golfer, as we say, and are able to maintain it. There are some people you say, yep, I broke 72 once. Now they're back on that side of the brick wall. But they're still golfing. There's nothing wrong with it. But they understand how hard it was to get there and what it takes to maintain life on that side of the wall. There's nothing wrong with it. That's up to your choice. But at least you know what your full abilities are. So I'm at Baxter's now. I'm in the maintenance department. I've taken on this challenge to make this machine. So I'm mechanically inclined. I made this machine. and it dispensed the proper amount of cream and sugar. So anyway, I make the first machine, and I'm saying like, okay, I'm a maintenance guy, okay? I'm not a sales guy, so I made the first machine. Who do I sell it to? It works. What do I have to do again? I had to ask for help. Well, this time, who do I go see? I go see our sales manager at the dairy. I says, Bill, I says, I made this machine. I says, it works. This is what it does. It's going to save people a lot of money. Who can I sell this to? Well, he told me to go see Mr. Tom Cahill. Tom had the Tim Hortons on the corner of Kemper Road, Roby and Young. And back in '85, that was the first store to do $1 million in sales in the chain. It was a very busy store. It used to be right on the corner then. So I went and saw Mr. Cahill. I set up an appointment. I says, Tom, it's Mr. Cahill. I didn't know him. I said, Mr. Cahill. I says, I made this machine, and it portions out the cream and sugar, well, the cream then, and that it's going to save you money. He says, I'd like to put it in your stores here. He says, I'm gonna give you this machine 6 months, no charge. If you like it, you pay for it. If you don't like it, no sweat off your back. Call me, I'll take it back out of here. He called me back after 3 months, ordered another one, paid for the first one. And things started rolling. Now, at this time, I had another business on the side going. I used to sell empty 45-gallon drums for the dairy. We used to make a lot of orange juice and apple juice, and these drums, empty drums, would come in from Brazil and Argentina and so forth. And they were real nice, clean drums. The guy who used to buy them from us died one day, and they were sitting in the backyard of our facility, and they're becoming so many unsightly. And my boss said, we used to sell them for the company, and you can contribute the money to the party fund, but then accounting said we couldn't do that no more for legal reasons and so forth, so they accumulated, and my boss said, get rid of these things, they're ugly, Michael. I said, well, nobody wants them. We don't want to pay to get rid of them. He said, I don't care what you do with them, get rid of them. I said, can I have them? He said, sure, I don't care, get rid of them. So I took them. Well, this guy who I used to sell them to before he died, he had an ad in the Chronicle Herald. The ad said, used drums wanted. And another ad, the other side said, used drums for sale. That's how I found him. So what did I do? I went down to Radio Shack, got me an answering machine, connected to my house phone, put an ad in the Chronicle Herald. Used drums for sale, $5 a piece. 865-9602. That's my home number. Now it's the company's number. But people call up, I got drums for free, and I was selling them for $5. My best year in selling drums, I sold $30-some thousand worth of drums. Most of them I got for free. So I was able to use that to fund a lot of things I did. Also, as I continued to grow, so I had the drum business going. I had a full-time job at the dairy. I loved my job at the dairy. I loved that dairy plant. I would work 60 to 80 hours a week in there. And then I started this company here. So now my work week's up to 100. Okay? I'm a young kid, I can handle all this, right? We have 2 kids at home now. Me and my wife, we built our first house. But I'm never home. I'm working all the time. So anyway, Tom puts the first machine, he buys the second machine in. It was kind of like the Vidal Sassoon thing, they told 2 friends, the binary code, they told 2 friends, it kept growing and growing and growing. But I'm running a business as a hobby. I got 2 businesses, both of them are hobbies. I always tell people, if you find a career or a business that you love doing, you'll never work a day in your life. People say, well, what's that? What do you mean? Well, if your job is to move gravel from here to there, 8 hours a day and back and forth, but it's Friday, you're getting off, and your buddies are going to come over, and you're going to take the old engine out the old Ford and put a new engine in the car. But you're tired. You move gravel all day long. But do you consider putting the engine in the car work? No, it's what you like doing. Next thing you know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Your family say, well, you got to go to bed. See? But mechanics get paid to take engines out of cars and put them back in. That's their work. Maybe they like it, maybe they don't. But to you, it's not work, it's a hobby, it's relaxing. It's something that you really want to do. So if you could take a career or a business that you're passionate about, you'll never work a day. You'll never want to stop doing it. So I make the first machine. Now we're up to about 5 machines in Tom's store. My second customer, his name was Willard Joyce. Willard Joyce is the brother of Ron Joyce, the owner of Tim Hortons. And he had a store in Dartmouth across the old bridge. He was my second customer, and Willard would say, Michael, he says, he bought a machine. He said, you do this and change that on the machine, and I'll tell my brother about it. And I wouldn't do it. I would procrastinate. I didn't feel like doing what he wanted done. And he'd tear a strip off me up down the other side, I get it done. And next thing you know, we're selling machines all over the Maritimes. I'm still running this as a hobby out the basement of my house. So I'm manufacturing machines in the basement of my house. Tom comes to me one day and he says, Michael, I got a problem over here in my Pizza Hut stores. We got a problem oiling our pizza pans. Can you make a machine? I'm cocky now. Yeah, I can do that. Took about 6 months, and we got something working for Pizza Hut, so we did all the Pizza Hut stores all across Canada. We're still busy with Tim Hortons stores as a hobby. I'm working 100 hours a week as a hobby. Now, I got the basement of my house. We built our second house now, because the first house was too small, and I built this big ranch-style house. I had 2,300 square feet in the basement. And I'm buying machinery. And we'll keep putting machinery in the basement of the house. And we're making machines like crazy. As things continue to move on, I'm going to jump up to about let me see where I'm going to go. Yeah, about 1990. Business is going really good. The drum business is going good. My job at the dairy is going great. Okay? 100 hours a week. We had this big order that came in from Pizza Hut. And it was due in January of the next year. This is December. Well, every December, we took our kids down to South Portland to buy them new school clothes for the spring. Every year. I told my wife I couldn't go because I had a problem with the electronics and the boards, and it was an issue, and I was trying to figure this out, try to get these machines done to launch with Pizza Hut. Well, there's a story I talk about. I call it the pie. Your life is a piece of pie. You got 360 degrees. Pizza pie, pumpkin pie, apple pie, I don't care. Take a business or career, half the pie is consumed. The other half of the pie is yours. Family, vacation, hockey, reading, movies, whatever. That's your piece of the pie, the other side. As your business or career grows, it will consume your piece of the pie. Boss says, I need you to do this. But I was going to do, well, I got to get it done. And you say, well, I can't do this, kids. I got to do this, A business or career will consume 360 degrees of your piece of pie and spit you out. Because a business or career does not care about you. But if you are going to be successful, you must let that consume 360 degrees of your pie. Otherwise, you haven't given it your best. The question is, where is your piece of the pie going to be? Because you cannot maintain 360 degrees of running your career or business. Something will suffer. It may be your health. You're working so much, you're not eating right, you're not sleeping, maybe a heart attack, who knows, nervous system may go. You may be hooked up with somebody for companionship. Well, you ain't there, but you got the best career going, every world renowned, but the person you're with has no companionship. Well, guess what? Probably half of it's theirs now. or the business or career may not succeed. The question is, as you continue to move forth in your endeavors, where will your piece of the pie be? And that's a personal choice for you. It may be 270. It may be 180, and it's going to vary, but you cannot maintain 360 for very long. So our business is going along very good. I'm in the basement now. I'm going to jump up to about 1986. We have 13 people working in the basement of my house. I had 30 tons of equipment in the basement of my house. I was making my own three-phase power. I'm not sure if many of you know what that is, but most commercial buildings run on three-phase power. We were running 600-volt power through the basement of the house. We were doing $1 million sales in the basement of the house. So things are going pretty good. I want to jump back to 1990 for a moment. So 360 degrees of the pie. I was so busy. We ended up going to Portland, Maine, because my wife said to me, "Michael, what about the pie?" I said, "Oh, you're right." So we went down to Portland, Maine, got the kids new clothes. We worked out the situation with the electronics. The order got out on time. Everything was good. Later on that summer of 1990, my daughter said to me, she was her first, I was her first year of school. And she said to me one day, "Doesn't Daddy ever come home?" And I had this great job at the dairy. I had my drum business. I had the cream machine business going. Back in 1990, the cream machine business was probably doing about $300,000 a year in sales with the cream machines. Job at the dairy and the drum business. And I said, "Oh, boy, kind of pulled here a little bit, So I quit the job at the dairy. I was holding somebody else back. I was almost getting kind of burned out. There wasn't quite there yet, but I was almost getting burned out and kind of holding somebody else back from moving forward. So I left the dairy in 1990, started this business. I started full-time in this business here, which really freaked my wife out because all of a sudden, I'm never home, and I'm there every day. Because I had, drum business, machines. We were only making about 6 machines a week, so it didn't take that long. I'm out there mowing the lawn in the middle of the afternoon and watching TV and drinking tea. And she said, "Aren't you going to get out of my way?" So you kind of figure that out after a while. But anyway, things are going really good. 1996, we are doing, like I say, $1 million sales in the basement. Tim Hortons comes to me. I'm still running AC dispensing as a hobby. No brochures and nothing, just a pure hobby. And what time I got? Just having fun. Tim Hortons says, "Michael, we want your product all across the whole chain." Because right now I'm just selling by word of mouth. I don't even go to Toronto to make sales calls. Everybody just knows about the machine. I want Mike Duck's machine. And they would put it in. By then we had a competitor who started up and formerly marketing the machines that was part of the franchise package. It wasn't that good a machine, and by now they're breaking down on them all the time. So they said, "Well, we want your machine. You're the best kept secret there ever was. But you got to set up a formal company." Well, I don't like running businesses. Sounds kind of weird, but I don't like running businesses, okay? But see, I'm an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur must have, I'm going to use a golf analogy, an entrepreneur must have all 14 golf clubs in his bag. You got to be a shipper. You got to be your CA. You got to be your purchaser. You got to be your manufacturer. You got to be your service department. You got to do everything. You're in charge of it all. You may delegate some stuff to other people, but it all comes down to you in the end. But there are only a few things that you can do good. I tell people all the time, you must find out what your freaky quality is. What's the quality that makes you, you? Okay? Back in New Jersey, our high school was state conference champ 6 years in a row. And the kid himself, boy, I was pretty good at playing ball. I couldn't even get a tryout for the team. Why? because there were a lot of great, fabulous, exceptional people around. The team was state champ 6 years in a row. Exceptional people got tryouts. The freaks made the team. What was their freak? That one quality. This person made a great center, great power forward, great guard, great captain. Together, they made a team. So what I started doing early on is realizing what my freaky quality was. It was not running the business. So I went out and hired me a general manager. I hired someone who I trusted. And that was my first boss at the dairy, the guy who said, stop complaining and do something about it. I hired him to run my business. So he ran my business for me for a number of years, became one of our vice presidents. He's now retired. But we continue on to this day. Because I realized that that was his qualities of running a business, not mine. As the business continued to grow, I would keep delegating more stuff that I didn't want to do onto his cart, and his cart was beginning to break down. So then I decided to hire a CA and a few other people. But when he wanted a CA, I said, well, make sure you can find me somebody who could become president of the company one day. So he found a young man that was a great fellow from Cape Breton, and today that gentleman is the president of the company. So our company continues to grow. We now cover, we're all around the world now. We're in the Arab Emirates, we're over in Europe, Mexico, we're down in Portugal, a few other countries as well as North America here. We continue to grow. We average about $24 million in sales a year, 140 employees, 138 employees right now, and continuing to grow. We cover our customer base runs everything from Tim Hortons to a Dunkin' Donuts to a McDonald's to a 7-Eleven to Cumberland Farms, you name it. We have product out there in somebody's store somewhere, all made right here in Nova Scotia. We continue to grow and grow and grow and having fun these days. But none of it could be done without the great people here in Nova Scotia. As we continue to grow as what we do, I always tell an illustration. It's about this man and this woman. They get a seed, and they go in the backyard and they dig the earth up. They take out all the rocks. They put the seed in the ground. They put nice topsoil and fertilizer, and they cover it over. They put a little fence around it. They put some water on it. They come back and they pull the weeds out. Wintertime comes, they put a tarp over top of it. Springtime comes, they're back at it again, protecting this plain little patch of grass. Neighbor says, man, Mike and Shirley can't grow nothing. That bare patch of ground. But see, in year 5, this goes on for 5 years. Year 5, the seed happens to break ground. That seed is a bamboo. And in China, under the right conditions, a bamboo, that weed will grow 3 feet a day. You can sit there and just watch it grow in 24 hours under the right conditions. But what's been happening for those 5 years? What's been going on for 5 years? Root system, a foundation. If you relate this story back to your life, your parents, grandparents, or whoever has been nourishing you, protecting you, weeding you, giving you everything you need to succeed in life. You are here in your various universities that you're going to, putting down a what? A root system, a foundation. In business or a career, without a deep foundation or root system, you can't survive. We saw what happened when Hurricane Juan came through with all the big trees with the shallow roots. Blew them over. We've seen what happens on the prairies when they get no rain. The crops without the deep roots dry up and wither. In your business or career, whatever you do, you need to always have a deep foundation or a strong foundation or a deep root system. Your past professors here, teachers, family members, people you have met, people like me. Call me up one time when you get somewhere in life and say, hey, Mike, I was at a speech you gave at Mount Saint Vincent here, and I need some help. Can you help me out, brother? I'm there for you. But what do you have to do? What have I been doing all my life? Asking for help from other people. Never relying on yourself. If you rely on yourself, you have a 100% chance of succeeding, a 100% chance of not succeeding. If you ask another person, you got a 50-50 chance. If you ask 9 people, say, don't do it, Michael, don't do it. But you go ahead and do it, you're an entrepreneur. But you know the odds are 9-1 that it is not going to work. But you might be Einstein. So you got to keep trying, and trying. As you continue on in your careers or starting businesses and so forth, and I know that you're going to try to be the best you can be, the most successful you can be, as you reach that top pinnacle in life, there's an old saying, cream rises to the top. I mean, I know a lot of our young kids don't see that anymore, but back in the old days, you bought a bottle of milk, it wasn't homogenized, and the cream came up. Folks had to always shake it up to mix the cream back in so you get the good stuff. So that's where the saying comes from, the cream rises to the top. The cream is the best. You're at the top. But in life, I've learned and so forth, as you rise to the top, what else rises to the top? Scum. When you are on top, you must learn to separate yourself from the scum. Because scum is there to pollute you. I don't care how good your cream is, if it gets mixed in with scum, it's going to go back down and turn sour. So as you continue on in your career, you must keep yourself clean from other things. You must be in charge of your own morals. Don't let nobody else tell you what to do. What's good for you, you got to do your own research and make your own odds so that things are best for you to get you where you want to be. I've learned in life that our facade is everything. Today's world, we're really free. We like to do a lot of different things. We want to be our own person, look the way we want to look, and that's okay. But your facade is still important. Your facade is your entrance. When people see you, they're going to judge you first thing. Without saying nothing, they're going to judge you. If you think about the first day you went to school, your mom sent you off, you didn't care what you had on the first year of school, did you? But the second year of school, you want to hang out with these kids, you had to have this particular sneakers on, or this particular dress on, or blouse on, whatever it was, or hairstyle. Because we are influenced by other people. We shouldn't be, but we are. As you continue on in life, as you want to hang around with certain people, we all have our own little looks we like. But people will always judge you by your looks. If you have a lot of tattoos, piercings, freaky hair, that's okay. This is today's world. But remember, when you apply for something, the first thing, when somebody looks out that door and see who's coming in next, they are judging you, unfortunately. Doesn't matter how good your qualities are. Everybody judges everybody by the first thing we see. There was a song written back in the 60s called The Sign. You ever heard it? Yeah. Guy said, sign said, long-haired, freaky people need not apply. The guy said, so I tucked my hair up under my hat, and I went in and asked him why. He said, you look like a fine, upstanding man, I think you'll do. So I took off my hat and said, imagine that, me working for you. See, he changed his facade. Now, in today's world, you might do that, but you keep the hat on for 3 months and get past probation period, And then you break out with your tattoos and your piercings and everything else, and people say, yeah, but damn, he's good. She's good. Don't mess with her. She's good. So you got to fool some people sometime to get what you want, but you have to back it up. You have to back it up. What time I got? I better get stopped here. There are a couple things here. Today's world, a lot of times, as we watch our politicians and everybody, nobody wants to tell the truth anymore. Okay? There is a saying that's out there, lying moves the problem to the future. Telling the truth puts the problem in the past. Only then can you begin to heal and get rid of these situations that people get themselves into, that many of them carry on through the rest of their life. That's weighing them down, so they are not able to get to where they want to go. Lastly, I want to leave you with a saying, which was a young fellow. His name is Matty Stefanik. Now, Matty died at 13 years old. He had muscular dystrophy. But he was a brilliant young kid. Now, if you look up his life on the internet, you'll see, he was actually recommended to go into sainthood at 13. And the guy was brilliant young kid. As he died, became very good friends with Oprah as well. When Matty died, the last words out of his mouth, he said, "Choose to inhale. Do not breathe, simply to exist." So everybody in this room could do anything. I know you're all going to inhale everything that you've heard today and throughout the rest of this day. And hopefully some of the words here will have inspired you to become on to be all you can be and continue on to carry to Canada to where it has to go and grow this country. Thank you very much. Any questions?
I would like to know, you've obviously had the opportunity somewheres along from 1975 to now to take what you have and leave Nova Scotia. What made you stay?
People. Without the people of Nova Scotia, I would not be where I'm at today. I've always said, the fact that, I grew up in different situations, racially tensioned situations. When we came here to Nova Scotia, issues are still here today. They were there when we moved here. I learned to conduct myself, as a normal person. And I have never and people always looked at me as being a normal person. I've always said to people, I'm a businessman that happens to be black. That's where I view my life. I'm just another person. And the people here in Nova Scotia have been very accepting, very willing to give me the information I need to succeed. But you got to get out there and ask. They're not coming to you, very few come to you and say, "Michael, you should do this." But you have to be willing to get out there and ask for the help from the people, because there are a lot of great people. Everybody, it's all part of that root foundation, the foundation, the root system we talked about. It's the people. Without them, it's very hard to succeed. And it's a beautiful country. I mean, it's every spring when I come back here, it's beautiful here when I come back, and all summer it's just wonderful here. Any other questions?
Hi, I'm Dave. I'm a student at NSCC Ivany campus. Thanks a lot for coming out. I have a question about, it was a hobby, the machines in your basement, and they asked you to expand, but they asked you to incorporate or become a legitimate business. So as this is a hobby, you did mention that you didn't want to manage the business, you wanted to hire a general manager and have the 14 clubs and have the CA. What resources did you have? Did you have a reserve, like a financial reserve, to fund the president or the manager? Because with people like us with little resources, we can't have all 14 clubs at once. So what did you do there, and do you have any advice for someone who does have to be all 14 clubs starting out? Thanks.
Good question. Resources. Well, I had my drum business. Well, by then the drum business was gone by 76, but I had the drum business, I had funding there. I've always priced the machines so that I could make great money. Because there was nothing else like it. You will always pay more for something that's phenomenal. I mean, you think back to when the first cell phone came out. I knew a guy when they first came out. He paid $3,800 for a cell phone. The thing looked like a big brick, but he was the coolest guy going because he's the first one to get one. So, adopting early technology, people will pay more money for it. I worked, as I mentioned, in the basement of my house. So when I price my machines, I price them as if I'm in my factory today. Our new factory, we're at 65,000 square feet now. We're going to add on another 16,000 pretty soon. But I price the machines from day one as if I was paying commercial taxes, paying business occupancy taxes, paying commercial phone bills, power bills, and everything like that. I wasn't, because I was in the basement of the house. So I was able to bank that money up. Another important thing was that I've always learned from a long time ago is as your business continues to grow and so forth, you'll see a lot of cash sitting around because you don't always have to pay the government back their portion right away. And you can look at your account and see a lot of money. You may owe the government $600,000 in taxes, but you don't have to pay it for 4 months. So it's sitting over here in your account. And after a while, you keep seeing that and you keep growing, but you begin to think that money is yours. And I've always taken the government's money and put it in a separate account for them because it's theirs. If it's in yours, you think it's yours. Lifestyles. I have many people come to me and say, Michael, you should do this. I say, no, you should try to do this. But I got no money. Got the great big truck, got the big TV. I got no money. The problem is people don't want to sacrifice. Everybody wants everything right now. And it's a matter of making the sacrifices now to get you where you want to be. Do you really need the fancy new iPhone 8 or Samsung, whatever it is now? Or will an old one still work for you? Will a basic plan work for you? What can you do to find the money? Because it's there. And if people see you cutting back, they'll understand that they may be more willing to help you. As I got going, the rapport with the banks was very important. My bank's Royal Bank. The relationship between you and your banker is very important because without them, you'll go nowhere. So it's having that banker believe in you, never lying to that banker. You're better off telling the banker 2 weeks in advance, I'm going to be short on my payment in 2 weeks, than to have it go 2 weeks past and say, where is my payment? Because he's got a boss to report to who has a boss to report to. So it's all those things, but it's about digging deep and looking for it and hustling. Getting out there and doing 100 hours a week, no matter what it is.
My name's Zach. How many hours a week do you spend with SureShot now?
When I'm back in Nova Scotia, I go into the facility every day. As I mentioned now, I have a president who runs the company with a full executive team that looks after everything else. I've delegated 100% to them. I'm the kind of person, imagine yourself. You went to school, to learn to run a business and so forth, or CA, whatever, and all of a sudden somebody says, here, run my business, and do a 180 away from them. So these guys are having fun. I give them total charge of running the operation. I spend my time now, when I go there, I'm in the production facility. I'm hanging out with the engineers, people on the production floor, our janitor, it doesn't matter who it is. Because, see, the executive people are brilliant. I hired A-plus students. I am not hiring nobody, as I mentioned, dumber than myself. I want the student or the person who got a 98 and wants to do a makeup test. That's the person I want. Because they're not going to accept 98. I want the best I can get, okay? And so by doing that, I don't have to worry about them. You do work with them some because, it's really, I always have another saying, too, because I'm a regular guy. I said, there are some people that are so smart, they're stupid, though. they can't do the regular stuff. They can do everything brilliant to run a business, but the regular stuff kind of gets them messed up, and so forth. So, but I'm there pretty well every day. My day now consists of we get up, me and my wife golf about 3 times a week. My other hobbies, and you must find a hobby as you continue on. Once you get on, you got to find something to do, because when you get around to retirement, you got to have something to do. Because I can't be in the business full time now, because all of a sudden the president's saying, well, geez, why is Mike doing my job? I want to do that. So you delegated something, let them do it, but you have to find something else yourself to do. So I do. I teach performance driving for Porsche and BMW. I shoot sporting clays. We golf. We ride road bikes. So we are pretty busy, trying to keep the old gut down. Do we have time for one more? Or? Yeah, sure. If they can't get their questions answered, they're not going to be able to succeed, right?
Sorry. My name is Radwa Ismail. I'm originally from Libya, North Africa. Mm-hmm. Actually, I would like to thank you first, because your talk is very lovely and inspiring, encouraging for somebody like me, okay? I have a question as an immigrant woman. I'm trying to start business here in Nova Scotia. We always hear like the easy or make it easier key to success, the right person in the right time. Please, can you tell me what's your scale from 1 to 10? 1 to 10 to this census is really right, is really, because somebody like me with zero networking or be able to know here.
I would say finding the right person, the right people is number 10 on my scale. It's the best that you can do. Now, networking, when you get a network group, you have to find people who can help you out. Because sometimes, especially you get the people and they want to talk, but they ain't saying nothing. And they're taking your time up when there are other great people in the room that may be a little more shy. But if you seek them out and tell them who you are, they may give you that time. They may be a brilliant person. So it's about qualifying the people that you are trying to network with or trying to get help from. You could talk to somebody. Somebody might say, go talk to so-and-so. And you may talk to them, and you find out, well, I'm smarter than that person. So it's about qualifying the people you are talking with. Can they really help you or not? You have to make a quick decision on that there and move on, especially when you're in a large group setting and you're trying to meet a lot of people at one time. So, but networking is a big help. And connections, like I say, from people from the various communities are a big help.